NXT took place in its home of Orlando, Florida, from the WWE Performance Center, and he had the tape show today. I'm not sure when it was taped, whether it was earlier today or Monday, but it was certainly taped after Bound for Glory, which took place this past weekend, and that's when Trick Williams finally lost his TNA Championship to Mike Santana, who won the belt at Bound for Glory. Many were upset that he didn't win it earlier at Slammiversary this year, but he finally got the belt. Congratulations to Mike Santana, and that's a huge upgrade over that bum, Trick Williams. Also, the Hardys and the Dudleys had their final match against each other at Bound for Glory. The Hardys won. It was for both the TNA Tag Team Championships and the NXT Tag Team Championship. Now, NXT, there was definitely some news also. I mentioned Stevie Turner being let go. She wrote a post in which she talked about how she wasn't really being a wrestler, but she did write a post today thanking the company and stuff. I thought she did a much better job than Ava. I'll say it like that. It's a damn shame. I mean, she just doesn't have the family connections that Ava has, and Ava is just fucking abysmal. One of the worst parts of the show, one of the worst parts of the whole entire company right now, watching her on my TV every week. She sucks. And now, there's also news that Wesley was let go, and I forgot to mention that when I was talking about the NXT releases on my Raw review, but Wesley's definitely a big name, and he was definitely the biggest name to be let go. I just think with him, he really doesn't offer too much. He's a guy who's short, and he does a lot of flips. Well, there's someone else like down NXT who's a much bigger star than him, who has much more potential than him, and that's Javon Evans, and I don't really think there's much of a need for Wesley. Just really doesn't offer too much. So for this show, Ricky Sainz kicked it off, cuts a promo on Trick after he lost the TNA Championship to Mike Santana. Trick appears on the screen, says we'll do it on his time. He sucks. We have to watch Trick Williams in another fucking main event. Another NXT PLE wasted with the worst wrestler in the entire company, Trick Williams, in the fucking main event. This guy is shit. Get him off my television screen. I don't want to see him on the main roster. I don't give a shit about Whoop That Trick. I already have to deal with the fucking heat. I don't want to deal with Whoop That Trick. Trick Williams sucks. So Matt Cardona was out. He got a big pop. And then once we came back, we had the NXT Anonymous account posting with Kalani Jordan and Jordan Grace in the locker room. That looks like a next feud, a good program in my opinion. They'll feud over the TNA Knockouts Championship in NXT, it seems. You had Mark Cardona against Josh Briggs. Josh Briggs is another bum, another NFL journeyman who fucking sucks. But Cardona was really over. Fans did the woo woo woo. They chanted Cardona woo 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 like the woo woo woo. You know it with Zack Ryder. But they were definitely behind Cardona here. He actually hit it unprettier, but unfortunately Briggs kicked out. Briggs won with a big boot. He sucks, man. A football journeyman. He just looks like another Baron Corbin. And I don't know why people like Baron Corbin, but I mean, Corbin I thought was just awful in NXT, especially in those early days when he had all those great workers, and then Corbin would come out and just have a stinker. That guy sucked. I mean, this is what Briggs is. Briggs is another Corbin. He's clunky in the ring. Looks like shit in my opinion. I just think Briggs sucks. You had Lara Valkyria backstage talking to Hank and Tank and Chase U as well. She's looking for Tatum Paxley, but then Izzy and Tatum show up with the culling, and it turns into a thing where Izzy talks down the other teams as there's a triple threat tag team match, but they're also building up Izzy and Tatum having their obvious falling out. Higel Del Wagner Jr. of AAA was out next. We got a JC Jane and Fallon Henley video package. They promote Laney Reed to the group. A huge upgrade over Jasmine Next, so that's good. He had Higel Del Wagner Jr. against Lexus King. Match went on for a while. Wagner Jr. got the win after a Michinoku driver. He cuts a promo on Ethan Page, who comes out, and then they're going to face at Halloween Havoc, and it's going to be a May of the Dead match. Do I care? Not really. I really don't care that much. You had Zarya and Sol Ruka in the locker room. They talk about the Battle Royal. Zarya thinks that Sol has too many belts and she doesn't need to be in the Battle Royal. Javon Evans and Leon Slater want to wrestle a team at Halloween Havoc. They go up to Ava, who's fucking horrible. She's insufferable. You don't want to watch her. It seems like she doesn't even really want to be there. She's so fucking bad. Get her off my TV screen. Don't train her to wrestle. I hate what she is. I'm glad her dad's movie flopped, Good. No show. Hey, Dwayne, I guess people no-showed the Smashing Machine just like how you no-showed WrestleMania. So, hey, wrestling fans doing what you do, no-show the big show. We're going to no-show your big Oscar performance movie, Dwayne. And thank you for saddling us with your fucking daughter in NXT, who's awful, and saddling us with Travis Scott, who ruined the main event of WrestleMania this year. Ava is just awful. Get her off my TV screen. I don't want to see her. It's bullshit that Stevie Turner was fired and she's still on TV, because one was actually decent at their job. One is fucking abysmal. Anyway, we hear someone being attacked, and it was Trick Williams who jumped Ricky Sainz. And he also had Santino there. I guess he got Stax, who was with his real-life fiancée, Ariana Grace. He got her an X Division Championship match next week against Leon. Blake Monroe was out next, and Zaria's out. We get Blake Monroe and Zaria, in which I thought was easily the highlight of the night. So Blake actually pulls out a chair from under the ring. Sol Ruca appears and grabs a chair from her, but the ref is distracted, and then Blake Monroe pulls out a hair pick and actually stabs Zaria in the neck, and then she pins her after a beauty shot DDT, and it's obvious Sol Ruca and Zaria are going to split soon. But I guess this is Blake's new gimmick, and she's going to be feuding with Sol Ruca next. So you have Blake and Sol, which is fine. You have Kalani and Jordan, which is fine. But then we're going to get JC Jane and Tatum Paxley. Spoiler. Oh, that's awful. Why does JC Jane have to be featured? She's the worst part in the division. There's so much shit on this show. JC Jane is awful. She's the worst NXT Women's Champion of all time by a mile. She's fucking horrible. JC Jane sucks. Josh Briggs sucks. Trick Williams is one of the worst wrestlers in the whole company. He's unwatchable. I can't watch him anymore. He's awful. He's an annoying catchphrase. Whoop the trick. Well, it's just some rap catchphrase. He's a fake rapper. He sucks. He's shit in the ring. No one wants to watch him wrestle a match. You have Darkseid, who's the worst stable in WWE history, in my opinion. I think they've become worse than Retribution because they're lasting longer. I mean, Retribution, the company gave up on them after a few weeks. Darkseid's way worse. They're actually getting a push, and they might actually win the belts back from the fucking Hardys. Oh, there's so many issues. And Ava, oh my God. Anyway, this was the best part, and I'm glad Blake won. And you had Ava announce the men's speed tournament match begins next week. Hake and Tank against Chase U in the Culling triple threat tag team match. OTM returns and attacks everyone, causing a disqualification. Don't care. Sol Ruca talks to Zaria in the doctor's office. And Sol, who feels bad, actually gives Zaria her spot in the Battle Royal. So Sol feels that she has too many belts, and I guess her and Zaria are going to focus on taking on Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair for the Women's Tag Team Championships. But Sol, who's already the Speed Women's Champion and the NXT Women's North American Champion, gave her spot to challenge for the NXT Women's Championship to her good friend Zaria. So I guess Sol Ruca is the opposite of Sasha Banks, a.k.a. Mercedes Moné. That's what I kind of thought actually went through my head. Maybe that's, in a way, a thin-veiled shot at her. That'd be actually be pretty funny. But we'll see when Sol and Zaria challenge Alexa Bliss and Charlotte for the women's tag belts. I think they'll probably lose, but we'll see what happens next. I guess they're going to keep doing the eventual heel turn of Zaria turning on Sol. Ricky Sainz is pissed off. Trick Williams is gone. Ava says they'll have a contract signing next week. Oh, she sucks, man. She's so awful. Just a total Nepo baby. She doesn't look like someone who would be put on TV if she wasn't someone else's daughter. Just if a particular person's daughter. No way someone who looks like hers on her TV screen. She's just awful, man. She's dreadful. Commentators preview next week's show and Halloween Havoc. Actually, they previewed Halloween Havoc and the contract signing, which will lead into Halloween Havoc. We showing Trick, who's I have to watch him in another fucking. I'm sorry, I just got in a bad mood. That put me in a bad mood for the whole show. If you can't tell me I'm in a bad mood in this review, I have to watch Trick Williams in another fucking main event of a PLE to one of the worst wrestlers in the whole company. Fuck that. So some of the participants of the 20-woman Battle Royal #1 contenders match come out. We saw several NXT and TNA stars, and there were some Evolve people. Xia Li was in this under a new name. You had Victoria Crawford, formerly known as Alicia Fox. She was there. Jada Parker got a big pop, as she always does. And then once we come back from break, and this is, I mean, I'm watching on the show that aired live. The show that was taped, but I mean, this is set up to air on the CW in the US, so like you're watching in that order. And you had Dark State attack the Hardys backstage and announcers preview next week's show after that. I thought was we just had a beatdown backstage, a surprise jump attack. We do it twice. Sean is just cooked, man. He needs to leave NXT. He's off. I want someone else here. He's picking the worst people. He's picking JC Jane. To me, that's enough to get you out, man. I'm done with Shawn Michaels in NXT. He's killed it. He's awful. He's picking fucking JC Jane. Or at least give him the Road Dogg treatment. Take away all his staff. I mean, he needs a whole new team around him. The people who he's pushing, oh my God. Anyway, after they preview next week's show, we get the Women's Battle Royal. So Carmen Petrovic was out first. That's a bad sign for her. Almost in some ways reminded me of Jasmine, in which they might just get rid of her soon. I don't know, Carmen, man. She has a really good look. She's really attractive. But again, same thing you can say about Jasmine, and she's out. I don't know if Carmen Petrovic has much of a future here. So the Inspiration were in this match. Cassie Lee, formerly Peyton Royce, she was eliminated. Lash Legend eliminated Mara Saidi, whatever how to pronounce her name. Formerly Jakara Jackson, she takes out her former partner. Jada Parker beat up Zaya Brookside on the outside after she was eliminated by her. All the women team up and throw out Lash Legend. Blake Monroe attacks Sol Ruka. Zarya then is so concerned that she accidentally eliminates herself. So that's how Blake gets under their skin, continuing to drive a wedge between them. Lola Face is eliminated by Jessie McKay, formerly Billie Kay, who was then eliminated herself afterwards. And then, you had Kalani Jordan do the big Kofi Kingston spot, but Jordan Grace took her out right after it. The Kofi spot was she basically walked on her hands on the outside to avoid elimination. Kendall Gray was shining here. She looks like a star. She really does. She's very attractive, has a legitimate background, which is impressive. We'll see how much charisma she has, how good she is on the mic, but she has the look and she has a very legitimate background, and she can be a star here. I really think if she puts it together and she improves, she has a bright future in front of her. That's Kendall Gray. So Tatum wins on a fluke. Basically, after Kendall was eliminated, I'd rather Kendall win than Tatum. But I was hoping, okay, put it on Jordan. Jordan can beat JC. She's your NXT Women's Champion. That's good for the division. Get the belt off JC. No, belt staying on JC because Izzy Dame, who I really didn't want to win, accidentally eliminated both herself and Jordan Grace, and Tatum Paxley standing on the apron. She survived, and Tatum Paxley wins the Battle Royal on the fucking fluke. She's going to face JC Jane. JC Jane's keeping the belt past Halloween Havoc. Oh my God, they're giving JC Jane a Roxanne Perez style run with the belt, and she's awful. Roxanne was great with the women's title. She was the best NXT Women's Champion, really. But I mean, JC is just awful. I was just hoping they'd have Jordan beat her, but JC Jane's she's gonna be champion probably till I can see her going up to the next year, past the year. I can see her going into being champion going into 2026. That's how bad this is. But after Tatum wins, Izzy Dame's upset. Fatal Influence looks on as Lyra Valkyria comes out, celebrates with Tatum. Izzy's upset. She's gonna turn on her, and JC Jane is going to still be your fucking champion, the worst NXT Women's Champion of all time. Yeah, I'm not happy with NXT. I don't like anything that's happening on the show. It's become my least favorite show to watch. I'm really down on it right now. I did not enjoy the show tonight. I know it was taped, but I did not like NXT.